Good morning, folks. Welcome back. Betting Public Sports Show. I'm your beloved host, famed Rothstein, a.k.a. Michael Snackson, a.k.a. Bay Old Wolf, a.k.a. Malcolm Excellence, a.k.a. Hacksaw Jim Thuggin, a.k.a. Yves St. Croissant. Happy New Year. Today is Wednesday, January 1st, 2025. We made it, folks. We made it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video, leave comments, share the content. All right, I'm just going to be real quick here. Elliot Wilson, he's a very famous hip-hop journalist. He's been around for a while. I think he started at The Source, but he was mainly known for Double XL magazine. If he didn't start at The Source, I apologize, but I want to say he started that, that's where he got first started getting national. But then he, like I said, he was like the editor-in-chief of Double XL. Then he, was on Rap Radar, things like that, which was on Tidal with Jay-Z and whatnot. So he basically, on some level, worked for Jay-Z a little bit. But anyway, he calls himself the Yellow Nig, YN. And he was on the Rory and Mal podcast. Rory and Mal, they're some type of hip-hop journalist, so, and whatnot. I don't necessarily watch them because I don't like that kind of stuff, because it seems to be just a lot of it's kind of get into what I'm going to talk about. But Wilson was on there and he said he basically he called Cameron. Cameron, the rapper, former rapper, does It Is What It Is podcast or sports show with his childhood friend and other former rapper, Mace. These guys were legends. These guys are, big time New York rappers, Mace and Cameron, in the 90s and early 2000s. Then, as Cam said in a record once, Mace went to church and settled down. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they were, big time rappers and whatnot, and they had that podcast, they have that show, It Is What It Is, with the young lady, Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby. And Elliot Wilson said that, says Cameron going around trying to be Stephen A. Smith, doing a sports show. And I saw, Cameron, I saw this overnight. So, apparently, it's been bubbling on social media. But, Cameron took umbrage, as well he should, he's dissing him and whatnot. And kind of fired back at him, called him old and washed and all this kind of stuff. And I just want to tell everybody, whether you agree with, how do I say this? I get what Elliot Wilson's trying to say. Me, a former, classically trained journalist. I get what he was saying. I'm not saying that he was right in dissing Cam and whatnot, but I totally get what he was saying. Like I said, I don't like rappers or sports jocks, former retired jocks podcasters either. I don't like them. They're usually not good. The interviewing and whatnot, and it seems to be a lot of dick riding and whatnot. I just did a video on about what's his name, big man, Marcellus Wiley, the other day, his podcast, and I like I said, I get what I get what Wilson's saying, but Cam and them, they're doing it. They're a little different. It's not necessarily a podcast. They're doing sports shows, and they get some decent commentary. They're not bad. It's a little different, My only thing with them that I don't like from their show is that pause game. They would never be on a legacy media station, CBS, ESPN, nothing like that. They would never be on nothing like that because it's just too unhinged. They be going off, very misogynistic stuff, right in front of the young lady, saying stuff about, women and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. Like I said, they do a good show. I like it. I was fans of their rap careers too. But I get what Elliot Wilson was trying to say, because it's the same thing I've been telling you about these shows, about these sports podcasts, these athletes and some of these rappers. Their podcasts, they suck. You know, so, you know, there's no need to call him wash, because he even admitted he was a hater, because what he said was, you know, I can't compete with that. You know, 30 years in journalism, I can't compete with Cam and them are doing because of, you know, the A-list contacts that they have. You know, a lot of times if you're a journalist, you might have some contacts, but they're not going to always be A-list. They've got nothing but A-list contacts to come on their show and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a different type of competition in this YouTube space. It's about independence. It's about independence, this YouTube space. That's really why Elliot Wilson can't compete. You know, he was too working for people for too long, and just couldn't, you know, just things like that. But like I said, the reason I get what he's saying, because on my local sports talk show, a local sports talk show here in the Republic of Cincinnati one time, this is probably like 30 years ago, I'll never forget this. There was this rant that they played. It was about Howard Cosell. You guys know Howard Cosell. You know, if you ever seen the movie Ali, the white guy and whatnot. Howard Cosell, he was Stephen A. Smith before Stephen A. Smith, talking that shit, New Yorker, talking that shit, calling people out, blah, 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 things like that. He's the gold standard of sports journalism. And like I've said many times before, Stephen A. Smith might have usurped him. But anyway, in this rant that Howard Cosell, he was talking about how athletes go easily into the broadcasting booth and taking jobs away from trained people. You know, trained media people. And you know, talking about, you know, he was basically going up. It was like right around the time Howard made that book. I never played the game. You know, because that's what Dandy Don Meredith used to say to him on Monday Night Football all the time. Like, you know, Howard be asking him questions about. He was like, you never played the game. You don't understand. You never played the game. You know, things like that. And Howard was saying something like, I'm trying to say it verbatim, but he said like, how does a guy become the next great broadcaster? How does he become the next Howard Cosell? He plays second base. You know what I'm saying? I felt that. You know, looking back, I felt that when I became a journalist and whatnot. And you know, that's kind of what's going on with. I mean, you know, but athletes have always done that. You know, because Elliot Wilson, even in his little. On that show, he was talking about how, you know, he's okay with Shannon Sharp doing that. You know, athletes have always done that. Ahmad Rashad, he was a professional athlete. It's always happened. And so when he's going off on when Elliot Wilson was, you know, talking about Cameron and whatnot, like you said, he was kind of like dissing him and whatnot. But the one thing I will give Cameron and one thing, not the one thing, but one thing I will give them credit for is that stat baby, that woman that's on their show, the host, because it's kind of like Stephen A. Smith's First Take show. You know, they got a female moderator, you know, introducing the topics and whatnot, and then the panelists go off. You know, she is classically trained. You know, she's fresh out of I believe Miami University journalism, communications or whatever. So, you know, they've got that, you know, and they've paid some homage. So that's why you can't really like go at them like that. But again, like I said, I understand what he's talking about. His frustration. That's part of what Jason Whitlock doesn't like about Stephen A. Smith. Jason Whitlock's a classically trained, journalist. Now he's a Stephen A. Smith hater at this point. And Jason Whitlock, he just can't compete anymore. You know, he's fat, not attractive, a curmudgeon, but he's a damn good writer. You know, Whitlock with the pen is nice. You know, he's as nice as, he's basically a sports writing equivalent of a Nas. Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, he's nice with that pen. You know, pen and quill shit. He's nice with it. But he can't compete with the the new media of visuals, TV, internet, YouTube. He can't compete with that because he's fat and unattractive. And that's probably what he hates about Stephen A. Smith. Guys like them, when they came out of journalism school, trust me, they were happy. They were probably thinking like, yeah, one day I hope to go up to USA Today or Sports Illustrated or Sporting News and, probably top out at $300,000 a year. Shit, Stephen A. Smith doing a contract negotiation for $20 million a year now. Unheard of when he got out of journalism school. I guarantee you, nothing thought of. He wasn't even thinking making $1 million. Probably making $300,000, $500,000 a year, getting a nice house in the suburbs somewhere, not even necessarily, a subdivision somewhere, but now he's probably in a gated community. One of the biggest, one of the most exclusive buildings in New York City, if that's where he lives, shit like that. So let's not just go too hard on Elliot Wilson. I get what he's saying. If you know, you know. It's kind of one of those things. If you know, you know. I get what he's saying. And it's kind of unfair, but it is what it is. It's, you gotta be able to navigate these waters. The current changes, you've got to be able to go with the flow. And some people can, some people can't. Because like I said, he even said himself, I can't compete with that. I want to compete. Can't anymore. That style of journalism, is not necessarily a thing of the past, but you're not going to be able to make the money that these guys are making. They Cam and Mace linked up with a betting company and whatnot, making millions, probably as much or more than they made that when they were on top of their game as rappers. You know what I'm saying? So, shout to them, I'll never disrespect them because I was fans of both of them, especially Cam. Like when he first came through, boy, I was like, who the fuck is this? First song I heard from Cameron is 357. The first thing that was catching me was like that Magnum P.I. beat. I was like, I've heard that beat. Where is that from? From the Magnum P.I. TV show. And hip-hopped it out a little bit. He's just going out spitting. You know what I'm saying? I did drive-bys, but now I'll take you on top of a high-rise, see if you can skydive. I'm like, who the fuck is dude rapping like that? You know what I'm saying? Been a fan ever since. So, but again, let's not go too hard, hip-hop community and fans of Cam and Mace. Let's not go too hard on Elliot Wilson. There is a slight point in what he's saying, but you got to know about the trials and tribulations of a journalist to get it. So I can empathize with him. Maybe some of y'all could give a fuck or care less. I empathize with him. I get what he's saying. He just said it fucked up in a fucked up way, which is kind of an oxymoron because he's a journalist. He's supposed to be able to tell coherent stories. He just didn't. That's all. But anyway, that's all for me. Let me get off of here. Hey, I got a video out this morning. College football action. New Year's Day college football playoff action. Go look at the video. 2 out of 3 yesterday. And you made good money because one of the picks was plus 300. We knew it was going to happen. Got 3 today. Go check the video. But whether you're on this video or that one, make sure you like and subscribe, share the content, all right? Leave comments. Let me know what you think. What you think about Elliot Wilson's comments? Huh? Let me know, and I'll holler at you soon. But until then, everybody be well. Peace.